Last weekend, our studio, Piano and More, set up a booth at a very popular local festival, and we got to interact with a ton of new students, and it was great. I had a fun time. And what was interesting was that I was talking to a lot of adults that were interested in playing piano. Like, they would walk by our booth and something would catch their eye, and they would kind of slow down walking. And then they would stop, look at the booth, and be like, nah. And then they would continue walking, but then they would stop and turn back around, look at me again, and I'd just be like, come on over here. You have questions. Let's talk. It's kind of funny to see that hesitancy because that's how adults are. Like, we're like, oh, we missed our time. Piano lessons, that's for kids. It's not really something that I, as a grown-up adult, should be doing, right? And there's a lot of doubt and hesitancy when it comes to adults even asking or inquiring about piano lessons. So because of that and actually seeing that firsthand, I decided to make this video to just make it easier for all of the adults out there that are curious about learning piano. So in this video, I'm going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions, some of the questions that these adults at the marketing booth were asking me. Basically, does Piano and More work with adults? How long do I need to learn to actually get somewhere? And what are some of the roadblocks and the benefits of learning piano as an adult? So by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear idea of what piano would look like in your life, and that way you can make a confident decision on whether you want to move forward and take that step. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Nicole Kovar. I'm the founder and director of Piano and More. We are an in-home music studio where we bring the lesson to you. We do piano, guitar, and voice lessons all across Northern Virginia, and we've been doing it for almost 10 years. So without further ado, let's dive in. So the first question is, do you teach adults? And the answer is yes. We have teachers that specialize in working with teenagers, young adults, all the way up to senior citizens. So when you give us a call or whenever you fill out your contact form, just leave a note that you want somebody that is specialized in your age group, and we'll be sure to give you a list of matches. So the next question is how long do I need to commit to learning piano? How long do I need to take lessons until I can actually play the songs that I love? And the answer is as common as it gets. It depends. And it really does depend. I have taught adult students before, and something that I quickly noticed is the adults who have had some kind of piano background in their past, whether it was even just a couple of months to just a year, it was just truly remarkable the miles ahead they were compared to students who had absolutely no piano training. Even if they had some kind of musical background, like they were able to identify notes, that also really helped. And this really did prove to me how important the developmental years are when you're growing and you're developing, that you do build that fine motor control because it will stay with you for the rest of your life, whether you use it or not. So obviously your background and what you already bring to the table, that matters a lot. Even if it was very little and it was decades ago, that is really powerful because the brain and the body will remember. And what also will matter is your goals. Like, what kind of song do you actually want to play? And it's important to state this like on the very first lesson with your instructor. These are the songs I want to play. This is my goal. This is how much time I have. So that way your teacher can be in alignment with you and make sure that we are able to hit your goals in that amount of time. So can you learn like a couple of pop songs in like 6 months' time? I would say yes, if you use the right methods, maybe mix in a lot more ear training than note reading, yes. But if you are looking to play classical pieces and do a lot more notation, then that's going to take years of practice. And you'll be able to play smaller songs here and there, but to really play your favorite classical piece or a bigger piece that takes a lot of fine motor control, it really will just depend. And that's something that you can talk to your teacher about. The next question is, what are some of the roadblocks to learning piano as an adult? And this is a really interesting question because the roadblocks are different when you compare students, like children versus adults. So the thing with adults is that there is this pride, there's this ego, and we're smart, right? We can understand things very quickly, much faster than a child can. But the thing that is different is sometimes our brain understands a concept, but your hands and your muscles are falling behind. And so this was a frustration that came up quite frequently, actually. Like, I would have my students tell me, I know what you're saying. I understand what I need to do, but for some reason, my hand just won't respond in that way. And it's because there's so much fine motor control that needs to be developed in your fingers, muscles that you typically don't use. And it does take time to build those neurons and those muscles to be able to react in the way you want them to. The second thing is that kids, they don't really have this big ego or At least it's not as strong as an adult, where if they fail, then they usually can just like throw it over their shoulder and they're okay with it. They'll be like, oh, okay, I'll just figure it out next time or tomorrow, or, eventually I'll get there. So what? But with adults, if they try and they try and they try and, whatever the number is in their mind, like, okay, by the third time I should be able to get this, and they don't get it, they really pull themselves down. There's the shame that comes out, and they're really hard on themselves. So that's my tip for adults, is you're not going to be able to get everything the way you want it, exactly how you want it when you're learning something new. And so you're going to have to give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of time to build those skills. And that's okay. That's just part of it. And you're actually going to be building character and really testing yourself throughout this process. And then the final question of this video is, what are some of the benefits to learning piano as an adult? Like, give me the good stuff, Nicole. And I believe I've kind of already sprinkled some in here throughout the video, but one that I really like to refer back to is, as you age, your body starts to age as well. And we know this. That's why so many people are pushing to work out, and we know we need to work out. We need to keep our body healthy. But something that people don't really realize is your brain also starts to age and will slow down and not process things as quickly. And in fact, as you age, your brain also starts to shrink. And one way to slow down the aging process is to work out your brain. So you may ask, how do I work out my brain? Well, thankfully, there's an instrument out there called the piano where you use both hands at the same time. You learn to read two different clefs at the same time, and you are actively firing up both sides of the brain hemisphere. It's one of the few activities out there that can activate all of the regions of the brain simultaneously. Piano is a cognitive activity that will help keep your brain young. So as you age, I believe it's even more crucial for me to play as a pianist and to test my boundaries and really push myself into learning new things. And piano is just one fun way to do that. If you have more questions on this and how piano specifically benefits the brain, I've actually already filmed a video on this. It's called What Happens After 1 Year of Piano Lessons and What Science Says. I've included some studies in it, and we'll link it up here so that way you can click on it and view that if you're interested. I know there's a ton of online programs and apps today that help teach you how to play the piano, but remember, the accountability factor is not there. And so I highly recommend, if you really want this to happen, if you really want to play songs, your favorite songs on the piano, or if you want to become a pianist, or if you really do want to slow down your aging process of the brain, then get a private piano teacher. There's no better way to have some accountability and actually look forward to your piano lessons every week than to have somebody that you adore and you love hanging out with. And what's so easy with Piano and More is that we're an in-home studio. So our awesome instructors, our professionals are going to your home and working with you right in your living room. So you don't even have to leave the house and you can still progress. There really is no better way to work out your brain than with in-home lessons. So try it out. You can book a trial lesson 50% off. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask questions, and we'll be more than happy to connect you with an awesome teacher in your neighborhood. So give us a call or fill out the form in the description below. There will be a link and you can book a 50% off trial today. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to keep the music going.